everyone, it's Wednesday and we're going to do a Z-fold card today. It's sort of a neat technique that I love, so let's get started. So this is our fun Z-fold card. I'm going to zoom out a little bit so you can sort of see it, how it works. You see how from the top that's why they call it a Z? And I did this little cutting out right here that I think is kind of fun. It's really not that hard of a card to do, and I have all the paper measurements here for you to follow along. I'm going to zoom out some more so that you can see everything. My name's Virginia Kilmore, and I want to be your preferred demonstrator. If you haven't gotten onto our website, Stampin' Up!, it's changed quite a bit. And one of the things you can now do is select your preferred demonstrator. The other thing you can do is now use up your bonus day coupons that you would have gotten in July. And for every $50 you spent last month, you got a $5 coupon that came in the mail. So make sure to use them this month. And you can do that by going to the website and then putting this hostess code in, and it'll automatically get you stamping, purchasing from me, which would be really nice. I'd like to be your preferred demonstrator. So to get started with this card, I got this beautiful stamp set called Snow Wonder from our new catalog. If you haven't seen this, please contact me. I'll get you a catalog right away. There are some beautiful cards. There's not just Christmas, there's all different types of occasions, including fall and Valentine's Day, Halloween. But who doesn't love the thought of a nice, cool, crisp winter morning in the heat of the summer. So that's why a lot of people love to make cards this time of year, and it's a great time to start getting ready for the holiday season. So to get started with this card, we're going to need 2 pieces of Pool Party cardstock, which I have pre-cut, and one is 10 3/4, the other one is 11. This shorter one is 3.5 by 10 3/4, and this one is 4 1/4. And it actually tells you where to score. So I'm going to go ahead and do that for you. If you've never seen me score with this cutter, I don't always like to keep my scoring tool here. So sometimes what I do is I use my bone folder and my track here. And this one says to score it at 5.5 from one end and 2 5/8 from the other. So 5.5, I'm going to go right here and score it right there. And then I'm going to flip it around. Actually, I could do it from the same end because they're the same. 2 5/8 is a 1/2 inch plus 1/8. And when I'm done, I should have a perfectly folded Z card right there. I'm going to go ahead and make a slight adjustment with my fold. The easiest way would be to just fold back on itself there and get it nice and crisp. And then I'm going to go ahead and use some of our Snowflake Wishes Designer Series paper. I'll glue that right on there. In case you want to see this Designer Series paper, I've laid it all out so that you can see all the different combinations that we have. Some are just beautiful and moody, really beautiful papers. And then some have just these gorgeous snowflakes. And they come in the colors of Pool Party, Coastal Cabana, Balmy Blue, Highland Heather, Misty Moonlight, Night of Navy, and of course Pool Party. So there's a lot of range of color. That's why I chose the Pool Party background, because I thought this paper really reflected the Pool Party. And I'm going to go ahead and glue this right on. because that can set aside while I'm doing the other parts. Got that on there. And then I need to also go ahead and score this piece. And that one's scored at 4 1/4 and 3 1/4. So 4 1/4, same thing I did before, and then flip it over and 3 1/4. Same thing again, I'm going to Z-fold it. The hardest part is figuring out which way it goes, but I do find that if you mess it up, you can just flip it around, and this is the way it's going to get tucked in eventually. Now, I don't know if you can see, I already have a background of Whisper White, so I might as well go ahead and put that in, and that's a 4 by 5 1/4 piece of cardstock. I'm going to lay that right in there because there's nothing else that needs to go on there. Might as well get that in place and let that dry while we work on all our other parts. Again, I'm centering it, and then I can put a weight on it and go ahead and continue. Now, my favorite part is this little section right here, and I did that by taking my Big Shot. I still don't have our new Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, so you're stuck watching me do it on this. And I took a framelit from Snowflake Wishes, which I didn't even show you yet the stamp set we're using, but I will in a second. Let's see, did I? Yep, it's right here. And I centered it right in the center of this. And then I ran it through a couple times to get it cut out. And I'm going to save that little piece for a little decorative design at the end. I just thought this snowflake was so pretty, and it adds another little element of design. Now, you could have put another piece of white cardstock in there and use that as another area to write in. But I like things pretty, so, and I'm going to take that right out with my pokey tool, get all those little pieces out, and set this aside because I'm going to use that for another component of my card. So now I'm ready to put my pieces together. I need to do the front of this card, which I'm going to be doing some stamping, and then the sentiment. So let's do the sentiment first because that's quick and easy. And that's a 3 by 3 1/4 piece of cardstock that's going to fit in there. So I need to stamp across the top. I'm going to be using Night of Navy, and I will show you the stamp set we used. It's called Snow Wonder. I love this little snowman. I think he's just so adorable. And I chose Sending You Blessings, Peace, and Magic this Christmas season. And I've already mounted that, so I'll go ahead and ink that up. And I have stamped this already a couple times, so I'm hoping it'll be fine the first time through. And that looks pretty good. And now I'm going to take my little snowflake and cut him right down the middle. I'm going to use that as a little decorative right here. Now look nice. I can still write something in there, but it gives me a little decorative piece. And I'm going to put a little glue on each of those little snowflake pieces at the end. Don't like to put too much glue. Too much glue means a messy card. Okay, so I can go ahead and glue that right in there. This card's moving right along. I thought it was going to take a lot longer to show you. I think the coloring is the part that takes the longest, but that's the most fun. So I've got that all set. Now all I need to do is to stamp this and put my shimmer paper on here. And I have a piece already cut, so I thought I'd go ahead and glue that on while we're doing the stamping. I'm going to put a little piece of the little bit of glue right along here. And then I can trim it when I'm all done. Just want to line it up and get it nice and clean and crisp. Lined up right along there, and just trim it right at the edge. And now I can set this all aside to dry while I work on the front of my card. Now, if you've never stamped with me before, my name is Virginia Kilmore. I was a former art teacher and I love stamping. I don't know why, but I just love it. I stamp pretty much every day. And you'll notice that I always have a list of everything that I've used here. Sometimes I forget stuff, so if I do, I try to tell you. Oh, no, we need this still. So now we just need to do this piece right here. And this involves something called masking. And I know I've showed this to you before, but I want to just go over it again. This is a piece, a Post-it note. Now, mine is sticky pretty much across the whole back side. It doesn't have to be, though. So I'm going to take my snowman and first stamp him right on here. This, first of all, allows me to prime my stamp a little bit. And I'm going to put something under it just in case I go off so I don't make a big mess. I'm not too worried about getting them all on there because I really just need this little edge to help protect those trees. And I can see it's stamping well, so I might as well go ahead and get this stamped on here. I always like to take a second to sort of get it set on there and then let it sit and marinate. I think I'm a little close to the top. It's not too bad though. I'm going to leave that be. But now I'm going to show you what we're going to do with this. We are going to use this as a mask to help us stamp those trees, but not stamp them over the snow people, snow person. I'm being politically correct. Okay, so I have this mask now. I want to make sure this is nice and dry, because the last thing I want is to smear it. Then I will have to turn it over. Do you see how that lines up perfectly? And I did cut slightly inside the line. The reason for that is I want it to match up perfectly and not leave too much of a space in between. So now I'm taking the trees from here and I'm going to ink those up. And I am going to stamp them once because, and I think I'm actually going to stamp them off. Reason being is I don't want it too bright because those trees are supposed to be far away. So I'm creating the depth or feeling of it going away. Go ahead and take that opportunity to take that off. And now see, when I pull my mask off, the trees look like they're right behind there. Now I see a little spot there that I'm not liking, and I'm going to probably have to use my sand eraser, which I'm not seeing right now. So that's how I solve those problems. But for now, let's get this colored in. I'm going to bring in all of my, what do you call them? Blends. Something about August has brought hay fever onto me and I can't concentrate. Not that I concentrate that good every day, but I decided that the body of the snowman should be Pool Party. So I always like to start with a darker color, and I like the harder edge of the stamp set. Because it allows me to really push down and concentrate on what I want to get colored in. So I'm using the darker color first. I'm going to come back in with a lighter color and go over some of the same spots, but also work my way into the actual body of the snowman. I am not going to color in the whole thing. I want to leave a little bit of white to create that little bit of roundness. And now I'm going to start with my hat, and I'm going to work with a lighter color first. I usually just use the lighter color. I just like that red. Now this stamp set, well, this paper that we're using, the Designer Series paper, uses a little bit of Highland Heather, and I did try to color in that hat and that scarf in Highland Heather. I just didn't like it. It didn't look Christmassy enough for me. So I backed off and went back to red, and I'm much happier. And now all that's left are my trees, and I'm going to stay with the light one here as well, the light old olive, because I don't really need a lot of color. And I'm going to color in my branches of my pine tree, and I am almost done. This Z card wasn't too hard. The hardest part are the measurements. So I am just finishing up this recording. I think he heard me. I don't know if you heard, my husband just called my name. So, okay. So there you go. I'm all set to put this together. If I could find my little sand eraser, I could go ahead and clean up that spot, but of course right now I can't. So I will have to do that later. My sand eraser takes out those spots just perfectly. But all I'm left to do now is to put my card together. So I'm going to go ahead and glue him on here. And get him all set. And then I'll show you how we put this card together, because that's the trickiest part, is getting him put together. So I want him centered, so I'm going to concentrate on getting this down first. So I'm going to put a little glue right in here. I'm not going to try to go right to the edges. I'm going to concentrate on getting the glue right where I want it. Slide my card all folded up right where I want it, and really look to see if it's centered. So you see how I'm moving it around right now? Centered right to left, top to bottom, and put some pressure on that. And once I'm happy with it, I can lift this up, fold it back, and put glue on the back side of this. And that is how you do a great Z-fold card. I hope you enjoyed that today. It's a fun fold card. And it really has a lot of drama because of the little holes in it and all the stuff that's going on. I love the Z-fold card. A lot of people do this, and there's lots of different measurements and ways you can go about it. I've seen people do it like this. It's just a fun card to do. I hope you enjoyed that. I hope to see you tomorrow at 1 p.m. I'm starting to post some of these to YouTube too, so if you don't like Facebook for any reason, you can do it there. But don't forget to like and share if you've enjoyed today's post. I'm going to put both of them down so you can see them side by side. I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you tomorrow. Tomorrow's Thursday already. Have a great afternoon. I hope you get some stamping done today, and I'd like to be your preferred demonstrator. See you tomorrow.